close your eyes for a moment and listen, not to my voice, but to the silence that cradles it. In that silence, there's a forgotten secret, one that a lonely man, hunched over a desk in a cold German library, once believed with all his soul. He believed this world, with all its pain and all its beauty, is not the only one. That right now, at this very moment, an infinity of other worlds are unfolding, every possible story being told. And the most haunting part, he believed we are living in the best of all of them. Not a perfect one, but the best possible one. A world chosen by a kind of divine mathematics, where every sorrow is balanced by a greater hidden harmony. It's a staggering thought to carry into the dark with you, a thought that can change everything. So tonight, let's step into his study and see what he saw. First exploration. What if the universe is a single, breathing thought? Imagine, if you will, a single point of light. Not a blazing sun, not even a flickering candle flame. Something simpler, purer, a kind of mental atom. A shimmering metaphysical droplet that contains, within its perfect solitude, a reflection of the entire universe. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz called this a monad. He proposed that everything you see, everything you feel, everything you are, is made of them. The creak of the floorboard in this quiet room, a chorus of monads, the weight of the blanket over you, a congregation of them, and the slow, steady rhythm of your own heart is the deep, resonant pulse of the monad that is you. They are not physical pieces, like dust motes floating in a sunbeam. They're more like points of view, tiny, living perspectives. Each one is a sealed window, looking out upon all of creation from its own unique angle. And from that lonely vantage point, it constructs its entire world. There's no pushing, no pulling, no clattering of billiard balls between them. The universe, in this vision, is silent, profoundly, deeply silent. It is not a machine. It is a symphony where every single note is a self-contained orchestra, each playing the same grand composition from memory, in perfect, pre-established harmony. Can you feel the stillness of that? The immense, quiet dignity of it? Your body doesn't touch the chair. Rather, your monads and the chair's monads have been dreaming the same dream of contact since the very beginning of time. They're playing their separate, solitary parts in a score so vast we can only hear the faintest echo of its melody. And this is where the wonder begins to unfurl, like a slow blooming flower in the dark. Because if this is true, then the man struggling with a decision on a rainy street in Chicago, and the old woman tending her roses in a Sussex garden, and the star collapsing in a distant nebula, they're not causing each other, they're harmonizing. Their stories were always meant to fold into one another, to create a chord of such complexity and beauty that it could only be conceived by a mind capable of holding infinity in a single breathing thought. So as you lie here, feeling the separate sensations of your body, the boundary between your skin and the air, consider just for a moment that it might be an illusion, a beautiful, necessary illusion, that you are not a thing in a world, but a world in a thing, a universe unto yourself, humming in silent, perfect agreement with all the other universes around you. And in that agreement, that divine silent music, there is a peace that goes deeper than any understanding. And from this vast, silent symphony of connected souls, a question naturally drifts into the quiet of your own mind, a question about the very source of all these worlds. if they are all just dreams? Whose dream are we dreaming? And what does it cost to dream alone? Second exploration. Is the solitude of a mind the birthplace of all worlds? Let's stay with that silence for a moment longer. The silence inside a single monad, your monad. It has no windows, Leibniz said. It cannot reach out and touch another. It is, in its essence, eternally alone, a sealed chamber. And yet, from within that profound solitude, it generates your entire life. Every memory that visits you in the dead of night, every hope that tugs at your heart in the morning, every scent that carries you back 50 years, the smell of rain on hot asphalt, the fragrance of a certain perfume. It is all projected from within. You are a cosmic cinemaphile, sitting in the private theater of your own soul, watching the story of your life unfold on a screen that you yourself are painting, frame by frame. This is the great, melancholic genius of Leibniz's vision. We are all absolute monarchs of our own inner kingdoms, and the weight of that crown is immense. We are responsible for every perception, every thought, every joy, and every sorrow that flickers across our conscious screen. They do not come from out there. They blossom from a deep, inexhaustible well in here, now. Feel the weight of that. The loneliness, to never truly be touched, to only ever experience the echoes of your own being. This is the solitude of God, shared with every last one of us. For what is God, in this system, but the ultimate monad? The one whose solitary, infinite perception is so rich, so detailed, so bursting with creative energy, that it gives rise to the entire symphony of lesser monads. He dreams us, and we, in our turn, dream our worlds. We are thoughts, thinking thoughts. And in the long, slow hours of the night, when the world has receded and you're left with only the hum of your own mind, you can feel it, can't you? The sheer creative power of your own solitude. You are not just watching the film, you are writing the script, designing the sets, composing the score. Your loneliness is not an emptiness, it is a fertility. It is the dark, rich soil from which your entire reality grows. The man, Leibniz, knew this solitude intimately. He spent a lifetime in it, surrounded by books and ideas, often misunderstood, often in conflict with other great minds. He knew the ache of a mind that cannot be fully open to another. But he also knew its sublime power. He understood that within that sealed chamber, you are free, utterly free, because nothing can truly assault you. Nothing can corrupt your essential self. The world can rage outside, but the monarch on the throne of your soul remains, generating the meaning, generating the story. So when you feel alone, truly alone, remember the infinite worlds being born in that quiet. It is not a void. It is a workshop. It is the very condition for having a world of your own at all. And so we find ourselves, the sole architects of our vast inner worlds, living out stories that feel uniquely our own. But what if I told you that your story, in all its intimate personal detail, was also a necessary verse in a cosmic poem? What if your life, with all its twists and turns, was not just possible, but essential? Third exploration. Could your life be a beautiful, necessary echo? This is perhaps Leibniz's most staggering proposition, the one that feels both like a comfort and a challenge. He called this the best of all possible worlds. The phrase has been mocked, of course. How can a world of war, sickness, and heartbreak be the best? But you have to understand his math. Leibniz wasn't a sentimental poet. He was a philosopher, a logician. He imagined God before creation, presented with an infinite set of blueprints. Every possible world that could exist, every reality that was logically consistent. Worlds of only happiness with no struggle. Worlds of pure light with no shadow. But a world without shadow cannot have depth. A story without conflict cannot have meaning. A symphony with only one note cannot have beauty. So the divine mathematician, running the calculations of reality, sought the world with the maximum amount of what? Perfection? No, the maximum amount of compossibility, the richest, most diverse, most complex harmony, the story with the greatest possible variety of experiences, woven together with the greatest possible order. Imagine a master gardener presented with every seed in existence. He could plant a field of perfect, identical roses. It would be stunning for a moment. But instead, he chooses to plant a vast, wild, tangled garden. He plants roses, yes, but also sturdy oaks, fragile ferns, creeping ivy, and bitter herbs. He allows for clearings of sun and deep, dark grottos, because the beauty of the whole, the living, breathing ecosystem, is of a higher order than the beauty of any single, flawless part. Our world, Leibniz whispers, is that garden. Your life, with its triumphs and its failures, its loves and its losses, is a necessary plant in this divine maximal arrangement. The pain you carry? It is not a mistake. It's the dark green that makes the bright flowers seem to glow. The regret that sometimes visits you in the quiet. It's a necessary shadow that gives your happy moments their depth and relief. You are a note in a chord that would be incomplete without you. Your specific joys, your particular sorrows, they were part of the calculation. They were needed to make this specific world, this best of all possible worlds, this world, the one that exists. This isn't a demand for gratitude for your suffering. It's an invitation to see it in a new light, to see your story not as a random accident, but as a vital thread in a tapestry of unimaginable splendor. When you feel insignificant, remember, in the divine calculus, your existence was not just permitted, it was required. The harmony would be lesser without the frequency that you, and only you, are adding to the cosmic song. So as you drift now toward the edges of sleep, let go of the idea that you're a spare part in a broken machine. You are not. You are an essential line in the most beautiful poem ever written. A poem where every word, even the sad ones, is exactly where it's meant to be. Let that thought be the blanket that covers you, the harmony that holds you. You are necessary. All is well. Close your eyes now, and let the day begin to soften at its edges. Let the lists and the deadlines, the noises and the needs, all blur into the background hum of a world settling down for the night. We're going on a different kind of journey now. Not a journey across land, but across the silent, sprawling landscapes of a single mind. The mind of a man who once sat in a lamplit room, a quill in his hand, and dared to dream of infinite worlds. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. And we are not here to study him. We are here to listen, to hear the echoes of his thoughts, and to see if in their strange and beautiful architecture we might just find a reflection of our own quietest selves. So, let the breath in your chest grow slow and even. Let the weight of your body sink into the bed, into the support beneath you, and imagine, if you will, not a universe of cold, hard matter, but something else entirely, something more intimate, more mysterious, a library. Fourth exploration. What does the dust on an unopened book remember? Imagine the scent of old paper, the feeling of a leather-bound spine, cool and slightly yielding under your thumb. Every book on these endless receding shelves is a world, complete and entire, a universe. This was the secret vision of Leibniz. He called these books monads, the true atoms of the universe, not tiny specks of physical stuff, but tiny soul-like centers of perception. Each one, a unique point of view. Each one, a story that has never been told before and will never be told again. Your mind, right now, as you drift here in the dark, is one of these books. Your own private first edition volume. And so is mine. And so is the mind of the person you love most, and the person you can barely understand, and the sparrow outside your window, and the ancient, silent stone resting in the riverbed. But here lies the mystery that can loosen the grip of a troubled day. Each of these books is windowless. It has no doors. Nothing comes in and nothing goes out. From its very beginning, its entire story is already written. Every joy, every sorrow, every moment of clarity, every pang of regret. It's all there, inscribed on the pages, a perfect and predetermined narrative. To our ears, that might sound like a prison, a fate written in stone. But what if it's not a prison? What if it's the deepest form of selfhood? You are not a blank slate, being written upon by the world. You are a story, unfolding according to your own deepest, most essential nature. The love you felt at 20, the loss that changed you at 40, the quiet contentment you seek tonight. These are not random events that happen to you. They are expressions of you. They are the chapters of your own singular, irreplaceable book. And think of the dust, that gentle layer of dust on the cover of a book that hasn't been opened in an age. What does that dust remember? It remembers silence. It remembers being left to its own essence. It is not lonely. It is complete. This is the solitude of the monad, a perfect, self-contained harmony. It does not reach out because it needs nothing from outside itself to be what it is. Its entire reality is this internal, unfolding perception, a never-ending reading of its own sacred text. Your life, with all its apparent interactions, its conversations and collisions, is, from this profound perspective, simply you reading your own story. The other people in your life are not interruptions in your narrative. They are essential characters within it. They play their part in your story, just as you play your part in theirs. Yet neither of you ever truly leaves the confines of your own binding. It is a divine, pre-established harmony, like a trillion clocks, all ticking in perfect, unshakable sync, without ever hearing each other's chimes. So as you lie here, feeling that subtle separation between yourself and the world, consider this gentle, liberating thought. You are not separate. You are harmonized. The friend you thought you lost, the love that feels distant, they are still there, perfectly synchronized in the grand composition of your being. The loneliness you might feel is just you, turning a page, waiting for the next sentence to reveal how that character was always a part of you. The dust on your own unopened chapters is not a sign of neglect, but a promise of a story still to be lived, a perception still to be perceived, a quiet assurance that everything you are and everything you will be is already there, waiting in the profound and peaceful silence of your own soul, a story that only you can tell. And from that deep, silent library of the self, where every soul is a complete and windowless world, a question naturally begins to form. If we are all so perfectly, so solitarily contained, then what is this? What is this world we seem to share? This chorus of life, this tapestry of sound and sensation that feels so real, so intertwined. Fifth exploration. Is the world made of forgotten conversations? Listen, not with your ears, but with the memory of your ears, to the hum of a city, or the rustle of leaves in a night breeze, to the faint sound of a distant train, its whistle a lonely signature on the dark. Leibniz would tell you that you're not truly hearing something outside yourself. You're listening to the echo of a conversation that was never spoken aloud, a conversation that was settled in the mind of God before time began. This world of seeming interaction, this grand, messy, beautiful marketplace of life, is an illusion. A sublime and necessary illusion, yes, but an illusion nonetheless. It is the shadow cast by a harmony. Think of a dream you once had, a vivid dream full of other people. You spoke with them. They touched your hand. Their presence felt as real as the pillow beneath your head now. But when you woke, you knew. You knew that every character, every word of that conversation was born from you. They were all fragments of your own psyche, playing out a drama written, directed, and produced by the solitary playwright of your subconscious. Our waking world, Leibniz suggests, is not so different. It is the shared dream of all monads, a dream so perfectly coordinated that every conversation you have, every glance across a room, every shared laugh, every argument that leaves a scar, is simply your own inner story, perfectly mirroring the inner story of another. Your book and my book describe the same event from our own unique, windowless perspectives, with such flawless synchrony that it feels like an exchange. It is as if, before the dawn of creation, God gathered every possible soul, every monad, and said, "Here is the score, the music of the universe. You will each play your part. You, the violin, will have this melody. You, the cello, this bass line. You, the flute, this fleeting, beautiful trill. And you will never hear each other. You will each play in a soundproof room for all of eternity. But I promise you this, if you each play your part with perfect fidelity, the result will be a symphony, a harmony so breathtaking it will feel as if you are all playing together in a grand concert hall." And so it is. The world is not the conversation. The world is the memory of that divine, pre-written score. It is the ghost of a harmony, haunting the silent rooms of our individual souls. So what does this mean for the weight of your words? For the sting of a harsh comment or the warmth of a compliment? It means the power was never in the sound wave that traveled between us. The power was always in you, in how your story was written to incorporate that moment. The other person was merely playing their note in their silent room, and your soul in your silent room resonated with its own corresponding note. The hurt was not inflicted from the outside. It was a chord that already existed within your own composition, and so was the joy. This isn't to make life feel less real. It's to make it feel more sacred. Every encounter is a moment of profound self-revelation. You are not being acted upon by a chaotic world. You are reading the next line of your own epic poem and discovering with wonder what you have always contained. The world, then, this bustling, noisy, interconnected world, is the collective dream of souls who have forgotten they are dreaming alone, and the beauty, the heartbreak, the love, and the loss These are the forgotten conversations, the echoes of a dialogue that never actually happened in time and space, but was always written in the eternal, silent language of the soul, a language of perfect, pre-established harmony. And from that echo, that ghost of a shared symphony, we are drawn inevitably to the source of the music itself, to the great composer, the divine mathematician, the silent architect of all these silent, harmonizing worlds. We must finally dare to ask. Sixth exploration. When God calculates, do the numbers yearn? Leibniz, the man who gave us calculus, who dreamed of a universal language of symbols that could resolve any dispute, saw the creation of the world not as a command, but as a calculation. Before anything existed, God calculated. He laid out every possible combination of things, every conceivable universe, a universe of only light, a universe of only stone, a universe where sorrow never existed, and so joy had no name. A universe where you made that different choice, took that other job, never met that one person who changed everything. An infinity of blueprints drafted in the silent mind of the divine. And from this endless shimmering array of possibilities, God chose this one, our world, with all its pain and splendor, its wars and its weddings, its quiet moments of forgiveness and its roaring seas of regret. Why? Leibniz, with a confidence that can feel either comforting or chilling, said it was because this is the best of all possible worlds, not a perfect world, a best one. The one with the greatest variety of experiences, achieved through the simplest of laws. The most interesting story, written with the most elegant grammar. Think of a master painter. He could paint a canvas of flawless, uniform blue. It would be perfect in its way, but not the best. The best canvas has shadows and light, fierce reds and melancholy purples, a sense of depth and distance, a story whispered in the eyes of its subject. It has complexity, and complexity needs contrast. It requires what we call evil and suffering and loss, not as meaningless punishments, but as the dark pigments that make the gold leaf of grace and courage shine. So when God calculated, did the numbers yearn? Did the possibility of you, with your specific heartaches, your unique laughter, the particular scars on your soul, did that variable in the cosmic equation have a kind of pull, a desire to be made real? Leibniz might say yes. In his view, every possible thing has a conatus, a striving to exist. The possible yearns for reality. And in the moment of creation, an infinite chorus of possibilities sang out, each one straining to be chosen. And you, the specific, intricate, flawed, and beautiful you lying here in the dark. Your possible essence was among them. It yearned, and it was chosen, not by accident, but because a universe that contained your story, with all its shadows and light, was more beautiful, more complete than a universe without it. This is the quiet weight of the thought. Your existence is not a random accident. It's the result of a divine calculation. You are a necessary note in the greatest possible symphony. The sorrow you've known was not a mistake in the score. It was the minor key that gives the resolution its power. The love you felt. That was the melody the whole composition was built to support. When you feel the ache of a regret or the warmth of a memory, you're not sensing a flaw in the universe. You're feeling the reverberation of your own soul's necessity. You were wanted by the very structure of reality. You were calculated, and in that calculation, you were found to be good, essential, a vital integer in the solution to the problem of existence, So let that truth settle over you now, like a soft, heavy blanket. The day is done. Its trials, its small victories, its irritations and its kindnesses, they were all part of the music. Your music, played in your silent, windowless room, in perfect, unknowable harmony with all the other music of the world. You are a book whose story is sacred. You are a dreamer, dreaming a conversation that shapes your soul. You are a number that yearned and was chosen. There is nothing more to do, nothing to solve, nothing to fear. The calculation is complete. The harmony is eternal. All that remains is for you to rest, deep within the beautiful, necessary, and already written story of you. Let go now and sleep. Seventh exploration. What silence does a monad keep? Close your eyes now, not to shut the world out, but to feel its texture from the inside. The day is done. Its noises, the clatter of ambition, the murmur of worry, the distant siren song of something left unfinished, are all receding now, like tides pulling back from a shore. And in this new quiet, a different kind of sound emerges, the sound of your own existence, the low hum of you. If you were to press your ear against the hull of your own soul, what would you hear? A simple, single note, sustained? Or a symphony so complex it defies comprehension? This question, this intimate mystery, is where we find our guide for tonight. A man sitting in a lamplit library in Hanover, his quill scratching not on paper, but on the fabric of reality itself. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz would tell you that the hum you feel, the essential core of you, has a name. He called it a monad. And the story of the monad is the story of the most profound and beautiful silence in the universe, a silence that contains a world. Picture him there. The year is lost to us, and it doesn't matter. It is always a night like this one, for men like him. The fire is low. The world outside his window is a canvas of black, punctuated only by the pinpricks of stars. He believes those stars are not distant suns, but distant minds. He is surrounded by books, but he isn't reading them. He's listening. He's trying to hear the fundamental music of being, and he comes to a conclusion that would shake philosophy to its core. The universe is not made of atoms in the way we think. It's not made of tiny, hard, billiard ball particles bouncing into one another. No. The true building block of everything is a soul-like point of view, a perspective, a monad. Think of it not as a thing, but as a here from which the entire universe is viewed. You are one. I am one. The oak tree outside your window is one. Its perspective a slow, green, patient dream. The stone worn smooth by the river is one. Its experience a near-eternal mineral stillness. Every single thing that is a center, a world unto itself. And the most astonishing rule of this universe of centers is this: monads have no windows. Let that idea settle in the quiet of your mind. No windows. Nothing comes in from the outside. Nothing gets out. You are right now a sealed chamber, a pristine, self-contained universe. Your thoughts are your own. Your sensations are your own. The memory of your first love, the sting of a long-ago betrayal, the warmth of this blanket, the sound of my voice, all of it is generated from within. From the very first moment of your creation, your entire story was folded into you. Like a seed, contains the entire blueprint for the mighty oak. You are not a blank slate being written upon by the world. You are a book, slowly, gracefully, reading itself aloud. This is the great silence of the monad, a solitude so absolute, so complete that it can be terrifying to behold. It is the silence of a single, perfect note that holds within its vibration an entire opera. And yet, you feel the world, don't you? You see the moonlight on the floor. You feel the pressure of the mattress. You remember a conversation from this afternoon. If nothing gets in, how is that possible? How is there a world at all, and not just billions of isolated, lonely bubbles of perception? This is where Leibniz's genius becomes a thing of beauty, a metaphysical ballet. He imagined a pre-established harmony, a divine composer who in a single, luminous act of creation tuned every single monad. He tuned you and me and the oak tree and the stone. He tuned us all to play our own unique part in one grand cosmic symphony. We are all playing our score from the inside, with no conductor, no sheet music passed between us. And yet, because the composer was perfect, our melodies interlock in perfect, miraculous synchrony. The stone does not cause your foot to stumble against it. No. From the beginning, your monad was programmed to have the sensation of stumbling at that exact moment, and the stone's monad was programmed to have the experience of being stumbled upon. It is a harmony so precise, so intricate, that it gives the flawless illusion of interaction, of cause and effect, of a shared world. So, what silence does a monad keep? It keeps the silence of a perfect performer. It is the silence of a violinist in a vast, dark orchestra hall who cannot hear the cellist beside her or the flautist behind her, but who, by following her own deeply ingrained internal score, contributes to a harmony so beautiful it could make the stars weep. Your life feels like a conversation with the world because you are playing your part with exquisite fidelity, and everyone and everything else is doing the same. The loneliness you feel sometimes, that sense of being trapped behind your own eyes, is just you for a moment, hearing only your own instrument. But the symphony is always playing. It has never stopped. It is playing now, in this room as you breathe. Your breath is part of the score. The settling of your house is another instrument joining in. And the dream waiting for you at the edge of sleep is the next movement, already written, waiting to be played. There is no need to strain to hear the rest of the orchestra. You are the rest of the orchestra. Your very being is proof of its existence. So let the silence of your own soul be not a prison, but a testament to a harmony vaster than any of us could ever consciously hear. A harmony set in motion at the dawn of time. One that will carry your unique, irreplaceable note gently into the dream that is coming next. And in that dream, as your single note joins the grand chorus, a question begins to form. Not from the outside, but from the deepest logic of your own being. If every note is perfect, if every part of this score is necessary, then what of the dissonance? What of the sorrow, the pain, the stumbles in the dark? Could it be that even these were part of the composer's beautiful, terrible, and ultimate plan? Eighth exploration. Is the best of all possible worlds hiding in your sorrow? That question feels like a crack in the world, doesn't it? It feels almost blasphemous to ask it in the dark, to suggest that the very things we run from, the aches we bury, the regrets that visit us in the stillest hours, might be necessary, might be in some unimaginable calculus, beautiful. We recoil from this. It seems to ask too much of our fragile human hearts. But Leibniz, our quiet man in his candle-lit study, did not shy away from it. He stared into the abyss of human suffering and emerged with one of the most debated, and perhaps most misunderstood ideas in all of philosophy, that this world, with all its pain and profound imperfections, is in fact the best of all possible worlds. Not a perfect world, never a perfect world, but the best possible one. To hear this not as a cold, logical proposition, but as a deep and comforting truth, we must step away from the ledger books of good and evil and into the realm of an artist's studio. Imagine the divine composer before the dawn of time, not as a judge or a king, but as an artist, an architect of realities. Spread before this artist are not building materials, but concepts, possibilities, an infinite number of blueprints for universes, each one a complete, coherent story, from the first cosmic breath to the last whispered echo. The artist's task is to choose one, to bring one into the glory of existence. And so, the artist considers them. Here is a blueprint for a world of unending, shallow pleasure. A world where no one ever stubs their toe, where no heart is ever broken. It is a pleasant world, a comfortable world, but it is a world without depth. Its story has no conflict, no growth, no courage, no forgiveness. Its music is a single, major chord, held forever. It is boring. It has no shadow, and therefore, no light. Another blueprint shows a world of random chaos, a world where good and evil are dealt like cards from a shuffled deck, with no rhyme, no reason, no story arc. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. The artist sets it aside. And then, the artist comes to our blueprint, a world with mountains of breathtaking majesty and valleys of deep, crushing shadow. A world where a mother's love is the most powerful force imaginable, and where the loss of that love creates an ache that shapes a soul. A world where a hero's courage is defined by the fear he overcomes, where forgiveness is a miracle that mends a broken relationship, where a sunset is beautiful precisely because the night that follows gives it meaning. This world, our world, has a story, a rich, complex, heartbreaking, and heart-mending story. It has contrast. It has resolution. It has the potential for ultimate meaning. To have a world with the sublime beauty of a selfless act, you must have the possibility of selfishness. To have the profound healing of compassion, you must have the reality of suffering. They are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. The artist, looking over this blueprint, sees a masterpiece, not because every moment is happy, but because the story, as a whole, has the greatest possible amount of perfection, the greatest complexity, leading to the greatest harmony. It is the best story. And so, with a breath that becomes the Big Bang, the artist chooses it. Your sorrow, then, is not a mistake. It is not a sign that the composer has fallen asleep at the podium. It is a necessary shade in the painting, the dark background that makes the gold leaf of your joy and resilience gleam all the brighter. That failure you carry, it is the plot point that made your perseverance meaningful. That loss you grieve, it is the evidence of a love so real, so profound, that its absence carved a canyon in your soul. A canyon that now channels deeper rivers of understanding and empathy. The world is not optimized for your momentary comfort. It is optimized for the beauty and depth of the entire collective story. You are a character in the greatest novel ever written, and the best characters, the ones we remember, the ones who change us, are not the ones who had easy lives. They are the ones who struggled, who fell, who loved and lost, and who, in doing so, revealed something true about the human spirit. Your life, with all its scars, is your unique and vital contribution to this cosmic narrative. So, when a shadow passes over your heart, do not see it as a flaw in the universe. See it as the author trusting you with a difficult but crucial part of the story. A part that, in the final act, will make the resolution of the symphony all the more magnificent. And as you accept this, as you feel the weight of your own story not as a burden but as a purpose, you might begin to wonder, who or what is actually reading this story? If I am a character, who is the I that is aware of the page? Ninth exploration. When a window looks back, what does it see? We've sailed into deep waters, you and I. We've embraced the beautiful solitude of our own souls. And we've made peace with the necessary shadows that give our story its depth. But now we arrive at the final and most personal mystery. If we are these windowless monads, living out a pre-written score for the sake of a beautiful cosmic story, then who is the we that's asking the question? Who is the listener in the dark? Leibniz gives us a final breathtaking gift. He says that what separates you from the stone or the oak tree is the level of your perception. The stone has perceptions, yes, but they are so faint, so dim and confused, that they're like the murmur of a million distant voices. It has no memory, no self-awareness to gather those perceptions into a single, continuous I. But you are different. You are a dominant monad, a soul, and your defining feature is apperception. You don't just perceive, you know that you perceive. You're not just a mirror reflecting the world. You're a mirror that knows it's reflecting. You're a window that has turned its gaze inward and seen itself looking. This changes everything. It means your consciousness isn't a passive recipient of a predetermined life. It's an active participant in its own unfolding. You are the reader of the book. That is you. And in the act of reading, you change the experience of the story. Think of a beautiful, complex piece of music. The notes are all written, the score is fixed. But when a master musician plays it, she brings it to life. Her interpretation, her slight hesitations, her feeling, those aren't written in the ink. They appear in the space between the score and the performer. You are that performer. The score of your life is the unfolding of your monad's inner design. But your conscious attention, your reflection, your effort to understand your own melody, that is your performance. That is your art. You're not the author of the story, but you are its lead actor, giving it nuance, emotion, and character that could never be fully written down. So, when a window looks back, what does it see? It doesn't see the other windows. It can't. But it sees the most incredible thing imaginable. It sees its own capacity to see. It sees a universe of meaning generated from within. It sees that its own reflections, its memories, its hopes, its regrets, its loves, are the very substance of the reality it experiences. The world you live in isn't out there. It's the magnificent internal creation of your own soul, perfectly harmonized with the inner creations of every other soul. The tree you see? It's your soul's way of expressing its harmony with the tree's soul. The friend you laugh with? That's your soul performing a duet, one written at the beginning of time, yet made fresh and alive through your shared conscious experience. You are not a puppet. You are a collaborator with God in the experiencing of your own life. And so, as you drift now on the edge of sleep, let go of the need to control the score. The composer has done his work, and it was flawless. Let go of the fear that you are alone in your windowless chamber. The symphony is playing, and your note is essential. Your only task now is to bring your conscious, loving attention to the performance, to feel your life, to witness it, to appreciate the profound, often difficult, but always beautiful story that you are. Your breathing is slowing. The room is soft and dark. The day's grip has loosened. You are a single, luminous point of view, a unique perspective on the entire cosmos, dreaming itself into being. And in your dreams tonight, you won't be escaping the world. You'll be diving deeper into the most real world there is, the one that has always been breathing quietly inside you. Sleep now. The harmony is perfect. The story is yours, and it is good. 10th exploration. What if reality is just a whisper between two silences? Imagine for a moment the silence that existed before you were born. Not an empty silence, but a fertile, waiting silence. A silence thick with potential, like the hush in a concert hall just before the first note is played. And now, imagine the silence that will follow. These are the bookends of your existence, and in the slender space between them, your entire life unfolds. A vivid, urgent, and seemingly solid dream. But what if this vibrant reality, this world of hard edges and heartbeats, is not the primary thing? What if it is merely an echo, a delicate, negotiated whisper between those two immense and absolute silences? This is where our friend, Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, invites us to sit. In the quiet of his study, by the light of a single candle, he began to question the very substance of the world. Others saw a universe of clattering mechanical objects, like a vast and complicated clock. But Leibniz, he listened more closely, and he heard not the ticking of gears, but a conversation of souls. He called them monads. And please don't let the strangeness of the word frighten you. Think of it not as a philosophical term, but as a secret. A monad is not a speck of dust, not a physical thing at all. It is a perspective, a point of view. It is a unique and irreplaceable way of witnessing the entire universe. Your monad is the you-ness of you, the silent center from which your entire world radiates. And my monad is mine. Every soul, every living thing is such a center. And here is the first mystery, the one that can soften the hard edges of your day. These monads, these soul windows, have no doors. They cannot actually interact. They cannot bump into one another. They cannot truly cause each other pain or joy in any direct, physical way. This sounds lonely, doesn't it? It sounds like the ultimate solitude. But Leibniz saw it as the foundation of a perfect harmony. Imagine an infinite number of clocks, each perfectly wound at the dawn of time, each ticking to its own unique rhythm. Yet, by some divine and pre-established plan, they all strike the hour in perfect, breathtaking unison. Your life and my life are just like that. We are not crashing into each other by accident. We are dancing a dance that was composed with infinite care from the very beginning. Every encounter, every stroke of luck, every heartbreak, not random collisions, but notes in a sublime symphony. The man who cut you off in traffic, the loved one who smiled at you across the table, the rain that fell on a day you needed to stay inside and think. They were all playing their part, and you were playing yours. Your world is not happening to you. It is unfolding from you in a perfect, if inscrutable, agreement with everything else. So, when you feel the world is chaotic, when it feels like a series of brutal accidents, remember the whisper. Your reality is not the shouting of objects. It is the gentle, persistent hum of a billion soul perspectives, all expressing the same cosmic story from their own unique angle. It is a story whispered from the first silence, and it will return to the second, having been told in all its infinite, beautiful variations. And you, right now, are not just hearing the whisper. You are the whisper. And in the grand design, your particular note was always meant to be sung. 11th exploration. Can a life be a sentence written in a language you've always known but never spoken? There is a yearning that lives in the human heart, a kind of homesickness for a place we have never been. We feel it in the beauty of a sunset that seems to promise something more, in the melody of a song that feels like a memory from a dream we can't quite grasp. It is the feeling that we are meant for something, that our lives are not just a random scribble, but a text with a purpose, a meaning we are meant to decipher. Leibniz, spending his lifetime deciphering ancient texts and unraveling the mysteries of calculus, believed this feeling was not an illusion. He believed that every single soul is born with a hidden blueprint, not a destiny carved in stone, but a kind of innate spiritual grammar, a language written into the very substance of your being. This is the language of your true nature. You spend your life learning to read it. Your desires, your deepest inclinations, the things that bring you a sense of rightness and peace. These are not random wants. They are clues. They are words in this inner sentence. Your sorrows, too, are part of the text. The struggles that feel like knots in the wood. The grief that feels like a dark, unreadable ink blot. They are not mistakes in the manuscript. They are the complex clauses, the tragic turns of phrase that give the entire story its depth and its resolution. Think of a master composer. He hears the entire symphony in his mind before a single instrument is played. He knows where the dissonance will occur, the moments of tension that will make the final resolution all the more sweet. He does not create the dissonance because he is cruel, but because he is crafting a greater, more profound beauty. In the same way, your life, with all its apparent contradictions and pains, is a necessary clause in the story of you. The universe is not working against you. It is conspiring in its silent, mathematical, and deeply loving way to bring about the fullest expression of you. The you that you are at your very core, meant to be. So when you feel lost, when the path seems obscure and the script seems smudged, do not despair. You are not failing to find the meaning. You are in the process of living it. The yearning itself is proof that the language is there. The homesickness is evidence of the home. You are not a stranger in a foreign land. You are a native son, slowly remembering the cadence of his mother tongue with every choice you make that aligns with your deepest, quietest truth. Your life is not a question searching for an answer. It is an answer, beautifully and intricately phrased, waiting for you to understand the question. And as we close that page on the inner text of a soul, a final, softer question begins to form in the shadows of the room. Not about the story itself, but about the one who is reading it. 12th exploration. Are you the dreamer or the dream being dreamed? We lie down to sleep and we enter a world of our own creation. We are the architects, the directors, the sole conscious source of the dramas that unfold behind our eyelids. In the dream, we feel we have agency. We make choices. We feel fear. We experience joy. But upon waking, we see the truth. We were also the landscape, the other characters, the very air the dream was made of. Every element was an expression of our own mind. Now, gently, let this thought settle over you like a soft blanket. What if your waking life is not so different? You feel yourself to be the dreamer. You feel you are behind your own eyes, making decisions, steering the ship of yourself through the world. This is the most fundamental truth of our existence. But Leibniz, in his infinite curiosity, asked us to consider the view from the other side. What if you are also the dream? What if the you that you take yourself to be, the collection of memories, desires, and thoughts, is a character in a much, much larger story? A story being told by the universe itself. Each monad, each soul, is a single vivid dream being dreamed by God. Not a passive dream, but an active, living one. You are a thought in the mind of the infinite. And just as in our own dreams, every detail of your existence is saturated with meaning. The scuff on your shoe, the way the light falls through the window at this very hour, the specific combination of regrets and hopes you carry in your heart. None of it is accidental. It is all a necessary part of the narrative whole. This does not rob you of your freedom. In fact, it is the source of it. Your deepest will, your most authentic desires, are simply the divine will expressed through your unique lens. You are the instrument through which the universe experiences itself. You are the line of poetry, the bar of music that would be missing if you were not here. The entire symphony would be lesser for your absence. So tonight, as you drift in that liminal space between waking and sleeping, let the boundary soften. You are the dreamer, yes. You are the author of your inner world. But you are also a beloved dream, a necessary vision in the mind of the cosmos. There is no conflict here. There is only a beautiful, reciprocal act of creation. You are creating your world from the inside, and the world is dreaming you into being from the outside. And in that sacred overlap, in that gentle, breathing paradox, your life finds its eternal and its perfectly peaceful place. So let go now. Let go of the need to be only the dreamer. Allow yourself to be the dream. Be the story. It is a story that was always meant to be told. And in this quiet moment, it is being told perfectly through you.